When you step onto an aircraft, you likely scan for your seat number, check for overhead bin space, and perhaps glance at the nearest exit. But in my 15 years operating at 35,000 feet, there is one safety factor that almost every passenger, especially those of us over 60, ignores until it is too late. It isn't your seatbelt, and it isn't the oxygen mask. It's what you have on your feet. Most travelers view footwear as a fashion choice or a comfort convenience. But from the perspective of the galley, your shoes are a piece of safety equipment. I have seen passengers removed from flights, injured during moderate turbulence, and unable to evacuate quickly, all because of the wrong shoe choice. This isn't theory. I have personally assisted passengers who physically could not walk down the aisle because their feet had swollen inside their shoes, and I've watched evacuations where footwear became a liability. Today, we are going to deconstruct the specific types of footwear that compromise your safety in 2026, backed by real cases I've seen in the air. Part 1: The Physiology of Flight, the New Shoe and Boot Danger. Let's begin with physiology. Many travelers don't realize that a pressurized cabin at 35,000 feet fundamentally changes how your body behaves. Specifically, we need to talk about circulation and what we call cabin edema. There is a common mistake I see constantly: the brand new shoe traveler. You buy a new pair of shoes specifically for the trip, perhaps leather loafers or stiff sneakers, and you wear them for the first time to the airport. This is a critical error. At cruising altitude, your body retains fluid. For those of us over 60, our circulation already works harder. It is a biological certainty that your feet and ankles will swell, sometimes increasing by up to a full shoe size during a 4-hour flight. If you are wearing brand new shoes that haven't been broken in, you are creating a tourniquet around your feet. Let me tell you about a passenger, a gentleman in his late 60s I'll call Mr. Henderson. He boarded wearing a pristine pair of brand new leather loafers. He wanted to look sharp for his vacation. 3 hours into the flight, the cabin pressure had done its work. His feet had swollen so significantly that once he took his shoes off for comfort, he physically could not get them back on. The leather was stiff and unbroken. Mr. Henderson had to walk off the plane in his socks, carrying his expensive shoes, starting his vacation in significant pain and with a high risk of infection. But the danger isn't just in stiffness, it's in constriction. We often think of hiking boots or heavy lace-ups as practical for cold destinations. But on a plane, tight lace-up boots are a DVT, deep vein thrombosis, waiting to happen. When you sit for extended periods, blood pools in the lower extremities. If you have heavy laces constricting your calves, you are drastically increasing the risk of a blood clot. I remember a woman in her 70s named Dorothy. She wore tall, tight lace-up boots on a 6-hour flight. By the time we began our descent, the swelling was so intense that the laces were actually cutting into her skin. She couldn't feel her toes. As a crew, we had to physically help her unlace the boots because her fingers couldn't manage the task under the stress. Paramedics had to meet the aircraft at the gate just to check her circulation. The rule: if you must travel with heavy boots, pack them. For the flight, you need shoes made of flexible material, mesh, soft leather, or canvas, that allow your feet to expand. And always wear compression socks. They are your first line of defense against the clot zone. Part 2: The Physics of Evacuation, the heel and slip-on danger. Now, we move from physiology to physics, specifically, the physics of an emergency. In a worst-case scenario, we have exactly 90 seconds to get every soul off that aircraft. This brings us to high heels and stilettos. Many believe they can just take them off if something happens. But in an emergency, you are not thinking clearly. If an evacuation is ordered, a stiletto heel can puncture the emergency escape slide. If you pop that slide, you have just destroyed the escape route for everyone behind you. But even in routine travel, heels are a nightmare for seniors. Our balance changes as we age. I once witnessed a woman in 4-inch heels walking back from the lavatory. We hit moderate turbulence, nothing extreme. Because of her footwear, she couldn't stabilize. She went down hard and fractured her hip. By wearing heels, you aren't just making a fashion statement, you are becoming a safety liability to yourself and the crew. The opposite end is just as dangerous: shoes without backstraps, like mules, slides, or clogs. You might think these are convenient for the TSA line, but in the cabin, they are a tripping hazard. I have watched passengers trip over their own mules just walking down the aisle because the shoe slipped off mid-step. In an evacuation, you aren't walking calmly. You are rushing. If you are wearing backless shoes, they will come off. You will end up barefoot in a dark, debris-filled cabin. Part 3, the environmental hazard, the flip-flop and socks-only danger. This is the part that keeps me up at night: flip-flops and open-toed sandals. I know you're heading to Florida or Hawaii, but wearing these on a plane is a critical mistake for 2 reasons: hygiene and protection. First, the hygiene. Let's be blunt, the aircraft floor is a biohazard. Despite cleaning crews, those carpets have absorbed spilled drinks, food, and overflow from the lavatory. If you wear flip-flops, or worse, if you walk to the bathroom in just your socks, you are walking through a cocktail of bacteria. I have seen passengers contract severe fungal infections and skin irritation specifically from open footwear in the lavatory. Second, protection. The FAA actively discourages open-toed shoes because they offer zero protection against fire or debris. Consider a passenger: "I'll call Mrs. Chen. We had a precautionary evacuation, no fire, just a mechanical issue." Mrs. Chen was wearing flip-flops. As she went down the emergency slide, the friction caused her to lose both sandals immediately. She landed on the tarmac barefoot. The tarmac in summer can reach 150 degrees. It is covered in grit, jet fuel residue, and potentially sharp metal. Mrs. Chen suffered second-degree burns on the soles of her feet before she even reached the terminal. All because she didn't have a closed-toe shoe. Part 4, the 2026 verdict for seniors. So, what should you wear? The goal is to arrive at your destination healthy, not in a wheelchair. We, the people who fly for a living, almost universally wear the same thing when we travel as passengers: slip-on sneakers with a secure back or athletic shoes with elastic laces. Think of brands like Skechers, slip-ins, or cushioned running shoes. We look for 3 green zone features. Number 1. Security. A back strap or enclosed heel so the shoe never falls off during turbulence. Number 2. Flexibility. Mesh or soft materials that accommodate 2026 cabin edema. Number 3. Protection. Closed toes to protect against the lavatory biohazard and emergency debris. If you have those beautiful heels for dinner or those flip-flops for the beach, put them in your carry-on. Do not wear them on the plane. You only get one pair of feet, and at our age, a foot injury or a circulation issue can ruin months of planning. Conclusion. The good old days of dressing up for a flight are over. Today, travel is an endurance sport. Dress for the challenge. Wear the sneakers, put on the compression socks, and keep your feet protected. Check your shoes right now. If they don't have a back strap or they're too tight, change them before you head to the airport. If you want to know about the other hidden danger, the 2026 basic economy seating traps that are hurting seniors' backs, watch my next video right here. Subscribe to join our community of fearless senior travelers. I'll see you in the air, and I'll be looking at your shoes.